It's okay to sing along at home. I like the music, too. It's estimated that about 1.3 million families have at least one grandparent living with them. And that includes the first family now.
So what advice can we give the Obamas now that they have the first granny, mother-in-law, living with them? Well, Sally Shields, the author of The Daughter-in-Law Rules, joins us now. Sally, thanks for being on Fox and Friends.
Thank you so much.
I was just saying that you are a mother-in-law expert, and you became one because at first you had a strained relationship with your mother-in-law. And then what happened?
And then I learned to do my rules, and things are absolutely great. So I really want to teach brides and wives the art of making friends with their husband's mother so that we can all have a more wonderful relationship.
So the book is great for, of course, every American to look at. But now let's focus on the first family, because this is fascinating. This is a new relationship for them. So you have some tips for what Michelle Obama should do in dealing with the mother-in-law and with the kids.
Yes. Now, something that Michelle should do is that now that her mother's living with her, she should definitely not take the relationship for granted. She wants to take the time to spend with her mother. And even though she's going to be very busy with her duties as the First Lady, she should also spend time alone with her mom. And even though they might not be able to go out to the movies and dinner together, perhaps after the children are in bed, they could have a hot cup of tea together and nurture the relationship that way.
And you say don't just make Marion, the mother-in-law there, the babysitter. You know, give her a lot of advance warning. Ask her if she can babysit at times. Don't just take it for granted.
Absolutely. And also, Michelle should encourage Marion to continue to nurture the interest that she had before she moved in with the first family.
My favorite one is you say, don't vent about your husband to your mother-in-law.
Who are you supposed to vent to?
Well, this is really important, and I actually suggest that Michelle doesn't vent to her mother.
Her own mother, you're
now
right.
that they're living together. Now, I don't know if you all remember, but when President Truman lived in the White House...
I was very young when he was in office, yeah. I remember.
That was the last time a mother-in-law lived in the White House, and she had nothing good to say about him.
It was a very brutal relationship, yeah. They were not paying attention to your tips. Now, for Marion, you have some interesting tips for the grandma, as we call her. She's in the White House now. So what tips would you give to her in dealing with Michelle and the kids?
Well, now that she's living in the White House, she's taking on more parental responsibilities, so she's not just that once-in-a-while spoiling grandmother type. So she needs to really respect Michelle and Barack's wishes in terms of how to bring up the children. For example, Michelle likes her kids to have organic food, and she likes to limit TV time. So even though she can take some leniency, it would be good not to spoil the grandkids too much.
And just as you say that Michelle should not vent to her mom if she's having an issue with her husband, Barack Obama, you say that Marion, the mother-in-law, should not always take her own daughter's side if there's an argument.
As a matter of fact, Michelle herself has said that her mother has a tendency to take Barack's side. And this is something she actually appreciates about her mother because it gives her an objective perspective. However, something that Marion can do is more sort of, just validate her daughter's feelings when things get tense between the couple.
Okay, we save, I think, probably the best for last. Because now, what does Barack Obama do? I mean, how does he deal with a mother-in-law living in the White House? And first of all, this is a different scenario. He's leader of the free world, for crying out loud. What does he need to do?
Well, the most important thing to do is really to make his family feel special and appreciated. He's going to be very busy. So what I suggest he does is take the time to compliment his wife and his mother-in-law. Let them know how much he appreciates them and the job that they're doing. Let the grandmother know what a great job she's doing as a grandmother. Let his wife know what a great job she's doing as a mother.
And how should he do that?
Well, he should basically never forget her special days. This is the presumed obvious. Birthday, anniversary, Mother's Day, and the little-known holiday, Mother-in-Law Day, which is the fourth Sunday in October.
Really?
And here's a little tip for those people that have a little trouble remembering special days. They can call 1-800-FLOWERS, and there's a special service where you can put in the special days, and they'll send you a reminder about a week in advance.
Something tells me that Barack Obama will have somebody that will take care of that.
I think so.
In a date book.
Right.
But one thing I do want to mention is that there are 360 other days of the year, so that he should also concentrate on making them feel like the partners that they are on the other days as well, so that they don't just get the presents and gifts on those particular holidays.
All right, Sally Shields, great advice. We also want to mention your book. It's called The Daughter-in-Law Rules, and the proceeds from this go to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. So thanks for all the tips and coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much, Sally. Well, Fox and Friends.